Risky's Crypto Cave here, and we are on April 2nd, beginning of the month. So what that means is we are going to review the month of March and see how that went. There wasn't a whole lot of changes, but the one big one was I did shut a lot of equipment off. 3060 Ti's were all shut off. The 3070s were all shut off. Pretty much the only thing that is left running, and hop over to my Hive, is the 1660 Ti's. Those are still mining Quai. And let me hop over to MMPOS. The 3700X rig, that is a Warthog rig, so that is still on. And then the 3900X is still on. It says Zephyr to unmineable, but it's RandomX to unmineable, really. And getting swapped to Cardano. And then same thing with the two 5900s. Those are also on RandomX to unmineable to Cardano. And then the CMP card rigs, those are both still on. One is on Ergo, one is on Zealous. And as you can see, I have some updating to do. That's what these little red exclamation points are here. So I do have to do updates. Sometimes it works by just doing this. I think I did try this already and it did not work, but we're going to give it a whirl again and see how it goes. And last one. All right, there's that. So that may or may not take. But anyway, the March wasn't too terrible in relation to how February was. The electric bill was a whole lot lower. That is for sure. So I'm definitely not going to complain about that. So let's get into the results here. Here's all the transactions. Beginning of the month, I did find a Caspa solo block with the KS zeros. Haven't found one since. That was the only one. That was at like 15% or something like that. So, but that is the only one I have found. It was Zealous, Teleste AI, Warthog, Chia, Doge, Zealous. As you can see, pretty much all the same stuff that I had been mining. Oh yeah, the Jazz Miner, that one is still on. That is still mining Octaspace. So that is still running. The AL0 and the RX0, those are still running. I'm going to try to keep them going for about a year. And then I'm probably just going to shut them down unless something drastically changes. Yeah, what a waste they were. But I knew the risk going in. It is what it is. So they were pretty much write-offs on the taxes this year, which I still got to finish. Which, kind of a pain. But, anywho. And then over here, no transactions for the month. Still got the two Neoxa nodes going. I do only have the Raspberry Pi as far as pre-search goes. And then earlier in the year, I did renew my Flux node. And as you'll see, that's not profitable either. And then all the DePin. DePin, still the highlight. I've been beating this drum for the last few months. It remains the only thing that is profitable, the only thing that's making money, and it's kind of keeping things afloat. So, the L9 is making money, but pretty much like the way I'm seeing it is like the L9 profits. I'm kind of using those profits to not selling it, but essentially those are eating up some of the power bill to offset some of the losses of some of the other crap. So, and for the month, total revenue for the month. Actually, I didn't refresh this recently. Yes, a refresh. We had kind of got a little pump going on now too, so I'm curious to see what happens here. Yep, it's still down 61. Yeah. And most of that is on, we got some there, $20 there, and about $6 there. So, anyway, let's go zoom into this guy and see what we got as far as coins for the month. I had one Elysium payout from the RX0 for 10 Elysium for $3. BTC payout. Like I said, I did shut off the S19 J Pro 104 a week and a half ago, somewhere around there. So those rewards are lower. So that's about 235. That was a little bit over 0.003 is usually what I was getting. The S21 hopefully is turning on here soon up at Metered Mining. I did fill out the contract and all that fun stuff, so I'm just basically waiting for the unit to arrive there and get set up. And then mine 3,000 Doge for the month. Actually, let's hop back to February. How did that compare to February? Actually, I had an extra payout. February is a little shorter month, so a little bit more time to get another payout. And go back to January. 4,000 Doge in January. So there's a direct result of the increase in hash rate with all the L9s coming online. 263 DIMO. I did start staking DIMO 2 weeks ago, or pretty much whenever they launched it. I did stake, I believe, 500 DIMO on each of my vehicles. So the rewards have increased for that. As you'll see, 37 and 18, 37 and 18, 37 and 18, 20 and 40. There it is. So pretty much right around sometime in this week, first week of the month is when I staked it, because the rewards on the Tacoma pretty much doubled, and then the Supra went from 24 to, that was about a 75% increase roughly. So yeah, that worked out pretty good. I do have more DIMO that I could stake, because I have not sold any DIMO since I've been doing it. So that may be an option to increase the rewards further. But the Tacoma is leased, so that will be going back possibly. I'm not sure what I'm doing with that truck yet, but I don't know. I'll figure that part out. But anyway, as far as Quai, finally started receiving some Quai payouts, because when you mine it, it takes like 2 weeks or so to receive it, for the blocks to mature or whatever. It takes forever to get payouts. So we got 81 Quai for the month, 51 Flux. That's all from nodes for $14. That's half of what the node costs. 70 Ergo for $58, 35 Zealous for $76, and then 31 Cardano for $26, 49,500 Neoxa for $13. Those are just barely profitable. Those two nodes cost $12 to run, and they're making $13.47. Yeah, so they're shit in the bed. It's been a long downhill. Slow, gradual bleed on that one. Anyway, 30 Octaspace for the month for $10. And then we got 0.2 Litecoin for $18. No Raven Coin. 711 Geonet for $198. And then with Geonet, the halving is coming up, I believe, in June or July. So those rewards will be getting cut. It's going to affect me, but not like it would if someone was just buying a Geonet device. It will have a great effect on those, since mine's pretty much paid off already, and then some. So my rewards will just decrease, but that still has been a pretty good winner. Chia, 0.11 Chia for a whole whopping $1.45. The 3060 Ti's were shut off on unmineable. That was swapping into Solana, so there's no Solana. ZIL, I have all my ZIL staked, and I'm only making the payouts or claiming the rewards once it gets to 1,000. Last I looked about a week or so ago, it was at 580, so it's got some ways to go yet. 206 pre-search for the month for $1.10. That doesn't even cover the cost of one node, because they're only $2 to rent the node. So that's why I turned them all. When they expired, I just turned them all off and just running everything off the Raspberry Pi. Oddly enough, they're still running on node orbits and they didn't stop working, so I just let them go, and then I'll just move those rewards over. Had not been billed. I'm not sure what's going on, but whatever. And then 25,000 Irradiant for the month for a total of $6. No mobile. I could probably delete that because there's no more. Helium has switched over to H&T and not mobile rewards. 8,000 Teleste AI. I reached 100,000 Teleste AI is what I wanted to get to, so that's why I swapped over to something different, and that's why it's on Quai. 50 Warthog for the month for $12 basically, and then 76 Helium for $239. And that's second largest earner if we look. Third largest earner behind L9, then Bitcoin, and then Helium. Now, yes, I got burned on the IoT miners, but mobile Wi-Fi has been doing fantastic. So, and then there is the one Caspa solo block for $4.89, and actually we got to hop over to K1 pool. This is where I have everything on, whether it's Ergo, Caspa solo miners, Octospace, Quai, Zealous, everything's on K1 pool, and you got some pending bug on there because you have to get to like a 400,000 bug or something to get a payout, whatever. So it's not a whole lot there. Zealous is approaching a payout. Gets paid out at 10. That's 20. Ergo is 10 as well. So we got some ways to go, but let's see. Go to K Heavy Hash, Caspa Solo. I just want to check this out quick. You got some massive spike rates in hash rate spikes. Yep, up to 84%. So actually, technically, you didn't even get to 100% luck yet for the second block. So I guess I really can't bitch and complain too much. Rewards, payouts, and that's that one. Doesn't show. Thought it would show the block, but maybe not. I guess it only does that for a little bit because it was at 15% as far as that goes. Referral system. Yeah. And let's see, blocks. Is this it? That would just do recently found blocks. Yeah. All right. All right. I'll go back to here. Squirrel. No. Yeah. So as far as total revenue for the month at the time of mining, $14.93, and you can see current value is $14.31. Let's go back down. Yeah, there we go. And we're going to hop over to the electricity tab. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. There we go. And electric bill, $983 for the month, which is a whole lot better than $1,700 and $2,100. That's a whole lot better. Total kilowatts used was 8121. That's down substantially from 13.6, 13.1 to 81. So that's down a good chunk. 1660 Ti's used about 564 kilowatts. And then the 3060 Ti's, 153, 3070 Ti's, 242. Shed a little bit lower. 5,600 compared to 5,900 last month. So going down. A good bit of that is still the S19K Pro is still running, and the two CMP card rigs are still in there, and the KS0s are still in there, and the Jazz Miner is in there as well. CPU rigs, 354 kilowatts for the month, and then the 4070 Ti Super, which is the Warthog rig, used 163. Total kilowatts for mining was 7,084 for $857.79 of mining basically cost. And if you guys are wondering what I've been using to track the power usage in all these smaller 120 outlets like the EVG, the 1660 Ti's, the 3060 Ti's, 3070s, the CPU rigs, and 4070 Ti's, it has been the Emporia energy monitoring smart plugs. You can check them out on Amazon right here. These guys is a 4-pack for $35. They work out freaking pretty damn good. You pretty much just got to hook them up to your Wi-Fi and open up the app, export the data into a CSV file. It emails you a CSV file with all the information in it as far as a breakdown day by day, and you're good to go. So actually, let me hop over to full screen. So there's a box of them. And it looks to get focused, and there's one of them out of the box. So, and you pretty much just plug in your outlet here. You plug your device there. There's a power button on the side here, and you just connect it up, and you are good to go. So, this is I have a total of 8 of them, I believe, is what I have. 2 of them are not hooked up yet. I have one outside the box, one in the box. But pretty much here is these three got them, them two got them, and I believe, I think I have one on the computer that I'm on now too as well. I believe I have one on this rig to monitor the power of my desktop rig because it's also on Salad. So I think I do use that just to kind of track the power usage of that. And Salad doesn't use really a whole lot of power to begin with. So, but we have, let's see, next part we go over is income statement. I'm trying to catch up because this will be the second time going through this. And zoom out a tiny bit, 125, and I'm going to slide that over. We are going to pop up my big old mug, and here we go. So mining income for revenue for the month was 1,007. Node income was 29, 456 for DePin, 857 for electricity usage. Hostage was $40. That is the two Neoxin nodes and the Flux node. And the bill from Terra for the L9 this month was $256.62. And then total profit left at $338.85. That is on paper, because that is at the time of mining for the revenue number at least. And then if we scroll over and go over to current value, mining is 972, compared that to 1,007, and you got $23 for node, 29 is at the time of mining, so a little bit of a capital loss there, unrealized. And then DePin income is 435 compared to 456. That's down slightly as well. Obviously, electric stayed the same, hosting stayed the same, Terra's power bill stayed the same, for net profit of 277 on paper as of right now, unrealized. And in February and January both show as losses right now. So, yeah. So, profit for the year is actually negative $500 compared to, on paper, $1,400. That's like a $2,000 swing almost. So, that's a pretty big difference. So, that is not good. So that's why we've been turning a bunch of stuff off. So we do need some price appreciation on some of these damn coins, because it has been bad. It's been, luckily for the L9 and DePin, has been carrying me the last few months. So, and if it wasn't for those, well, actually, if it wasn't for those, I probably wouldn't have all the other stuff turned on it either. So, so those are allowing me to run some of the other stuff, just to kind of help offset some of it as well. So, and so I go back over to some of the other DePin things that, like, I have. There's Geodnet, DIMO, and Helium, the Wi-Fi devices. That's about the only things that I have running right now. I did order a Wingbits, so I do have one of those on the way, and we'll get that. Not sure how long that's going to take to come in. Gonna guess probably 6 to 8 weeks total. So if we're on maybe 2 weeks so far from when I ordered it, I'd have to go back and look at the date. I am kind of interested in getting a Weather XM. The Wi-Fi ones are sold out. The Helium connected ones are available to ship immediately. I do have an IoT miner here at the house, so I don't know how reliable that is. So I'm going to have to do some more research on that to see if it's worth buying the Helium connection one, or just be better off just waiting for the Wi-Fi one. I prefer the Wi-Fi one, so I'm probably going to wait till I can get the Wi-Fi one, but we'll see. If you have any feedback on those, let me know in the comments below, and that way I can get some feedback on that goes. So just as far as, I would prefer the Wi-Fi, just because if I ever turn off the IoT miner, if it breaks, stops working, then I'm screwed, because there's no other IoT miners that are really close that would probably connect to. So I'd much rather have the Wi-Fi unit. The other things I got going on, I did order a device to use for a node. I am going to be running a Bitcoin node here at home, and I'm going to solo mine all my little bit axes and nerd axes and all that stuff in the Nano 3, or whatever the hell that thing's called, little mini miner. Solo mine those to my own node. Try my luck. I mean, hell, a Bitcoin block's what, 250, 260K right now, so that would be a nice win. Obviously, not going to hit one, but hey, you never know. Got to play to win. So, if you're if you're not trying, that's one way to guarantee you of not hitting a block is not trying. So, and for the power that these things use, like 10, 20 watts or something like that, it's nothing. So, I had no problems running those devices. It's just something fun to tinker around with. So, you're not going to get rich with them or anything like that. You're probably never ever going to hit a block. Bitcoin Cash. Never looked at Digibyte or anything like that, or some of the other SHA-256 coins to see what the chances of those are. But the hash rates are low in those devices, so they're more of a fun little tinker toy kind of to play around with. But I figured I'll mess around with the device I did order. Is a Umbral Home. Just 'cause I wanted to look for something simple, not too complicated. And then the Future Bit Apollo was also an option. Those are quite expensive, but they're nice. The one that Panda has, the Founders Edition with the anodized orange aluminum, is freaking sweet looking, but it was $2,500 or so at the time. I wasn't going to dump that. It does have a miner built in with 5 or 6 terahash miner built into it, so you do have that on top of the hardware. I paid about $429, I think, for the Umbral. I think is what it cost me. And it looks like it has a pretty sleek OS based off Linux, and a little app store. We could download public pool, run the pool, so on and so forth. And I was just looking for something a little more simple instead of getting to all kinds of Linux commands and all that stuff. Because I know I could build it. You could build it from scratch, and I just don't have the time to do that, and learn all this stuff and how to do it as far as that goes. So, if you're gonna just do something quick, plug and play, not terribly expensive. And then plus, worst case, if I needed to, I could use that device for something else if I wanted to. So, but for the time being, still waiting for that to come in. I believe it shipped, I think. I'd have to check the tracking number. I know the label was printed, but I don't know if they actually shipped the device yet. But I don't think it was coming from that far. I think it was originating out of New York. So it shouldn't take too long to get here once it actually hits the post office or UPS. I think it was post office is where it was going through. So. So there'll be a video coming on that at some point whenever that device gets here. And but as far as other hardware, no real plans to buy anything else. If I do buy any more hardware, if it might be a big boy ASIC that will be hosted somewhere, that's about it. Not going to be running any ASICs here at home. Full size ASICs anyway. Those little mini miners, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Like currently, I have the RX0 and the AL0 are in the room behind me here. I might just put them out in the shed. They put off a decent amount of heat, so I think summertime's coming up. I'm not going to need the heat for sure. So maybe just put them out in the shed and get them out of the house. And other than that, not really a whole lot else going on. So we need some price actions. Hopefully all this political tariff nonsense gets all figured out, and the stock market, crypto market, everything can start taking off and appreciating, and I think we would all enjoy that. I know I would. So we'll see what happens. 4 o'clock today, so a couple of less than 2 hours away is gonna be like the announcement for tariffs. Because actually I have CNBC on the TV right behind the computer that I'm on, and kind of just like peeking through and looking for updates, stuff like that. So we'll see. Time will tell. Until then, we'll just keep doing what we're doing and try to squeak through this. All right, have a good one. Catch you later.